What's up, everybody? Welcome to Gameplan Sunday. This is the Wall Street Jack Boys stock market strategy session. And today's date is Sunday, March 17, 2019. We're going to actually take a look at the markets, the current condition that we're in, what major events occurred over the past week, and what events we have coming up this week, and then, come up with some framework on, tackling the market to generate some income this week, So we've been pretty successful at this. And, if you guys are not familiar with stock options, then I definitely encourage you to get our training at wallstreetjackboys.com. The link is also on the Facebook side, so you guys can check that out. But last week we had a pretty healthy rally in the markets last week. So last week was a very bullish, bullish market here. We'll just jump right into it. Now, there was some negative events that occurred over the past week that normally would have a negative impact on the markets, but it didn't. For instance, the situation with Boeing. So Boeing had a really, really nasty move in it. Let me just pull up the chart on Boeing so you guys can see it. All right. So here's the chart of Boeing. I know we had some people in the crew from last week that was actually looking at Boeing after the sharp drop and was looking into shorting. And one of the things that we were telling you guys not to do is to chase the moves. The key to making money in the markets, you got to be in position before the moves happen. So some things you just can't see, some things you can. But that's why community is important. That's why we have the Wall Street Jack Boys, because I don't see everything, I can't see everything, and I don't know it all, and I don't pretend to be a know-it-all. But you bounce ideas off of your comrades, your colleagues. So some things I don't see, sometimes Mia, she may see it. Ron might see it. Wes may see it. Justin may see it. Mark, anybody can see, these different moves. But that's the importance of having community. And that's, what I encourage you guys to continue to do at Wall Street Jack Boys. And if you're not in the community, then definitely join our community. So we invite you. Anyhow, this is a move that was catching a lot of attention last week. You guys heard about the plane crash in Boeing. That killed a lot of passengers. There's over 100 people that died. Can't remember all the details on it, but it was a really messed up situation. Getting them actually just banning from other countries, just grounding their planes from being flown, because this is the second time this happened, and people are just not feeling Boeing right now. Okay. And so anyhow, you had this steep drop that happened, and we had our floors here at the 100 moving average. So that blue line that you see right there, that's already there with our custom settings that we have, of course. And so you can see that steep drop come down, and it tags this floor line, and it starts to just bounce on that floor. And so let me just actually annotate with the pen so you can see this. So this is our custom settings here with the floor. That's the 100 moving average. Okay. And then that drop came, that sell trigger, and you got that big drop. Now, because when the moves are happening this strong, this is really, really, really strong, a strong move. And so if you were not in here, back here, okay, you're supposed to be in this move back here so that you could benefit from that drop right there. If you were not in back here when that drop happened here, then you missed the move. And so we have this saying in the markets that we say, don't chase the move. Okay. If you were going to short, then you should have been in here. There is no way that you could have known that Boeing's going to have a freaking plane crash, and that, all these countries were going to ban them, and it was going to get all this back, all this back, craziness going towards them. There was somebody in the group, Terrence, I know he was asking. He was like, man, there's no way I could have known. I wish I would have known. I'm like, well, think about it. If you would have known and you would have went super hard back here, and that would have happened that way, you probably had the boys in black coming knocking on your door. Like, what did you know? Okay. Because this is you can't calculate these type of things unless you got some inside information. So they'll be at your door like, oh, you made $1 million from shorting Boeing here. You're right at the time that this happened. That just doesn't look right. You look suspect, right? So sometimes you just, I know you say with your mouth, hey, I wish I was in there, but maybe you probably shouldn't wish that, right? It's just a learning experience. And so you just learn from it. There was weakness here at the top. So if you did want to get into it, you saw that it was coming at, that week. If he was already in position that way and building a nice position, And then once that move happened, then yeah, you would have definitely benefit, if you were shorting, planning on shorting this stock here. But it was a super bullish stock. There was no real indicators to actually get in before that move happens. And so anyhow, if you would have chased it, which I know we had some people that was trying to chase it, trying to get in, your orders wasn't getting filled. So at the velocity, the momentum that is actually all these shorts are coming in, people are scrambling to hit the deck, and you trying to get in, you can't get in. It's too late. That's why we said that you have to be in the move before the move happens. A lot of people try to talk about trading in hindsight, like, oh, if you would have did this back here, then you would have got here back here. Like that shoulda, coulda, woulda. That doesn't work in this environment. We're real time. We're live trading. So we have to have some nice framework. We have to know positions and trades and plays before they pop off, whether it's up or down. So you got to see the move before they happen. Get into the position before the pop off. That's what it's about. That's how you make money. You don't make money after the fact. And so as you guys see, with Bowen, you see it tagging this line after it made that drop. And here we go. It's still sitting at this line here. Okay. Now, if you see somebody was willing to pay $446 for this stock, so we already know the value of it. When it get pushed down this low, it's now at 375. All right. So you can actually pick up shares of Boeing, $375. But the value on it is about 446. So that's what you're seeing right now. Right. So you get, okay, Boeing is a little high. They just hit their all-time high not too long ago. Then you get this calamity that happens. And it's like, hey, everybody's like, I like Boeing, but up here it's too high. Your price is way too high. You need to cut it. Then we have an event, crash, right? The event occurs. We have a crash. This is a great stock. It's a defense stock. All this military stuff happening under Republican Congress. You already know Republicans are spending more money with the military. Boeing is responsible for a lot of that. NASA spending, space program. Boeing is benefiting from all of this. And so anyhow, it's a great stock. It's a good company, but people are wanting to own this company at a discounted price, right? So anyhow, that's what you're seeing here. You see the plunge protection team come in, and people would just, you say plunge protection, but people are saying, hey, I want to buy here, okay, at this floor. And so what you tend to see with moves like this, they were oversold, first of all, because it was panic selling. All of that was panic selling. So it ended up being oversold, okay? And when it oversold, there's nobody left to short to. So then you have people that's got to buy back their positions, right? And so then you normally see this thing start to come back up after it hits that extension. So it's already extended. That one drop just made it pop through all these floors, snapped through, but never held, but it held its position here. So anyhow, this is a move that I know you guys are eyeing in the group this week. And again, just remember, don't chase the moves. You need to be in position before these things happen. If you miss it, so what? There's like so many freaking stocks out here, so many positions. You're not missing anything, right? So the fear of missing out, FOMO, as people say, if you're in the trading world, people always talk about FOMO, fear of missing out. That's what that stands for. You're not missing out on anything. Maybe you missed out on this one position, but this is one out of like hundreds of thousands of stocks. This is ridiculous. All right. So that was the situation that happened in Boeing. Now, meanwhile, while Boeing is actually in calamity, which Boeing is a big stock, have a lot of weight, it still didn't pull the sectors down. The sectors was all moving bullish. Okay. So we had nice moves over in the NASDAQ, the Russell, the Dow, excuse me, S&P 500, and the Bowman. Okay. So this is where we are. This is where we are here at S&P 500. And again, if you guys are on the Facebook crowd, if you want to see the full charts, make sure you join the link to join our chat room, which is actually posted on the page on Facebook. So you can just join from there so you can get the full charts and everything. Okay. And Iris Rover. Okay, what's up, Iris? How you doing? Yeah, most of the move was at the hour. So exactly. Yep. A lot of the move was at the hour. So yeah, there's no way you're going to catch that. All right. So now the NASDAQ actually had a nice rally, and a lot of it came from the semiconductors, just the chip stocks. I got an article that I'm supposed to be releasing for you guys. I'll try to get it out this week, but my time has been crazy. I'm doing an article on 5G, dropping for you guys. If you know anything about 5G, 5G is going to be a major deal, major thing. It's already a major thing right now, but it's going to change everything as we know. It's going to change the world as we know it. Okay. So with 5G, what's important to understand about 5G is this. You have all these semiconductor stocks, these chip stocks, these telecommunication stocks that's or companies that's actually they are responsible for building this new infrastructure. So just to give you a brief little synopsis on the situation, I told you I'm gonna release the article so y'all can read all about it. But the cool thing about it is that, well, this is what it is. Okay. If you know that right now on your cell phones, okay, boom, you got your phones. Right now we got 4G LTE. That's the high speed that we have right now. Great speed. Speed is great. I don't really actually have a need for more. I think I got like 300 megs here at the house on Wi-Fi, whatever. But let's say 5G is supposed to be like 100 times faster than that. Okay. And so, but it's necessary for this new environment, this new world that we're actually going to be living in within the next 5 to 10 years, which is going to be basically the Internet of Things, connecting governments, corporations, and people to the internet at all times. Okay. At all times. That's the whole goal, is keep people connected. And so you need high speeds and you need more data to be able to, be on these bands that they have. Because right now 4G is kind of crowded. So you got this, they're opening this new wave thing with this 5G stuff. But anyhow, just kind of skip all the fluff. In order for them to usher in these new autonomous cars, which y'all know self-driving cars is coming. It's already here. This is one critical thing for self-driving cars. It's also critical for, just pretty much everything else with artificial intelligence. It's lots of data because of your smartphones now. Remember, smartphones, they're smart, S-M-A-R-T, smartphones. As consumers, we have benefit from using the systems, but the corporations and the governments and everybody else have, benefits also because you're giving them all this information for free, basically. And the information that they need is data. Data is the new oil. Okay, so anybody talking about oil? Well, data is the new oil. Data is very valuable. Every company is trying to get it. Everybody wants the best data scientists and everything, the quants and everything, so you can make, decisions with data. So the cell phones fueling this whole new ecosystem. The smartphones are, and all this data allow corporations to see what your inner thoughts are. What are your spending habits? What are the things that you like? What are your deepest secrets? Whatever the case may be, so they can build content around those things and they can build products around those things. So you basically give it to them free. You should charge them a fee, right? Because they're making all this money because, again, you say, hey, I want to use Facebook. So Facebook say, hey, I need access to your microphone, access to your camera. If you want to use my app, you say, okay, I'll do that. Great. So now it's like, oh, you got a legal agreement, but yeah, you're giving them all this information, which brings me to the thing with Facebook, which Facebook is still under a lot of pressure. Let me just take a look at the chart. Yeah, so Facebook, and I believe there's some talks about, I know there was like 2 executive leaders that left Facebook this week, which that's a big deal. Like Facebook has been having a lot of senior leadership people leaving the company. It's a lot of things that's going there. Facebook is really under attack. So this is not really a stock that you really want to own at this time. But what I do see here is a pretty common pattern. Okay. This pattern that we're looking at is a double top, basically. It's just, it's like it looks like an M, basically. Okay. So if I'm looking for some short exposure, it'll probably be here in Facebook. All right. But just remember, it's holding this line here, and you want to see if it's going to still hold the 200. If it breaks beneath, that'll be your entry trigger, right, to short. So that's what I'll be looking at for more short exposure for there from Facebook. Okay, it's a lot of stuff about Facebook selling data. They're under a lot of testimonies of Congress and people really trying to actually break Facebook up, which is interesting. Facebook, as you see, we had a debacle with Facebook this week. Anybody else had issues with connecting to your Facebook this week? Like, I swear I thought I was just banned. I was like, yo, I think I called Mark. I was like, yo, I'm banned on Facebook. What's going on, right? Anybody else have any issues connecting to your Facebook? Like, that was just crazy. I was just like, yo, what's going on at Facebook? Well, Facebook got a lot going on. Anyhow, so some setups that we look at, we look at the fundamentals, we look at the technicals, and then we look at the stories. What's the story that's going to drive these things? What's the story? The story is like the catalyst to what we already seeing. And so when you get all those things in alignment, it's like the stars coming in alignment. You're like, oh, bingo, the lights go off because all these things in alignment. That's how you know, to make certain moves. So, oh, I see all these different things in alignment. Now I have a strong conviction for this move that I'm looking for. Anyhow, but that's what we're looking at there. But I gave you guys a really solid play, Phil, because this is one of the tickets that's in my 5G watch list that I got for you guys. And this is Ericsson. Okay, so if y'all remember, we called it out. I showed you guys a setup. It was, textbook setup for what we're looking for, and everything else just, fit the bill for what we're looking for. Okay, as you see, payout on this is crazy. So the fundamentals, everything is great. We had a nice squeeze setup, trend, and everything is going up. Okay, we had our floors. That's our risk at the bottom established, and then we have our overhead resistance, what we're looking for, right? So these are target levels, knowing when to get in and get out, basically. But I actually like this long term. So actually already, filling in positions right now. It's not too late if you want to get in on this one. This is a 5G play. It's only $9, $9.63 for the stock, which is dirt cheap. So tell your friends, hey, I want to invest in stocks, blah, blah, blah. And I don't have that much money. Well, I'm sure you got $9 landing around. That's $10, okay? I don't even know. I thought maybe that's like a pack of cigarettes or something crazy. It's really not much, okay? So anybody can just get in and just own, take ownership of Ericsson and ride the wave. Now, Ericsson is one of the companies that's actually responsible for ushering in this new environment for 5G. So with 5G, right now the race is for deployment of 5G. And so right now, all the communication towers that we have on our 4G, they're not compatible with 5G. 5G is a whole different ball game. So the challenge is them actually building new infrastructure so that they can usher in 5G. And it's already starting now. So sometimes y'all might see some of your communication companies in your neighborhood already putting the devices, these like MU boxes, on all kind of places. Now the kicker on this one is that they actually are installing these devices like everywhere. With 4G, the communication towers are so huge and they go longer ways, but with 5G, it's like shorter ways, but it's more powerful, but it doesn't go the distance that the 4G does. And so they had to implement many more of them. And it also have issues with like water and trees and things like that. And so they had to actually make more of them accessible and available. And so like, just imagine your neighborhood. When they put 5G in your neighborhood, just imagine they're going to have like these MU boxes on like every block in your neighborhood. Like that's how they had to do it. But they're disguising them. They're like on stop signs. They're going to be on your traffic lights. They'll be on poles. They'll be on buildings, all kind of places. So they figured out a way to implement this new infrastructure to get this thing out. And that's what's going on right now. So with that, all these companies are racing to get 5G. And because they're racing to get 5G, if you don't get 5G, then you're going to die as a company because everybody else is already going to have it. And you don't want to be telling people, hey, I got 4G when everybody else, all your friends got 5G. Nobody wants to deal with a company that's still years behind. 5G is what it has to be. That's just the way it is. Okay. So with 5G coming in, all the companies are racing to actually get this stuff up and running. And so when these companies make their profits, whether you have Verizon, AT&T, Sprint, US Cellular, whatever phone companies out there, these companies are taking the money that you're giving them, the profits that they make, and they're spending it with infrastructure companies like Ericsson, okay? Because they need for these companies, like this company here, Ericsson, okay? They need these companies to build the boxes, to get the systems together so that you guys can be able to, take advantage of this new technology. You will be a user of the technology. But for the governments and the corporations, they're going to benefit from it also because you're going to make sure that you stay connected to the internet. It's this new system, the new system that we're going to be living in. And all this is taking place right now. The world is going to be totally different as you know it in the next 5 years. If you guys follow me on Facebook, I try to tell you guys without scaring you. I don't want to scare nobody. This is just the way it's going to be. I'm not calling it doomsday, but this is just where we are moving to in society. Everybody stay connected at all times, okay? Whether you got a smartwatch, smartphone, all things smart. They got Obama phones making sure you stay connected, okay? Because everything that's on the internet world can be tracked, can be traced, can be quantified, can be measured, can be projected. You can make predictions with data, okay? So everything has to be quantified. In the real world, you don't have a cell phone, we don't even know who you are. If it's a hurricane, I think it was hurricane, there was some of those people they couldn't find because they didn't have phones or whatever. And so those people kind of die out. Well, in the new system, the new world, everybody's connected. And not just that you're just connected, you're going to be connected all the time, everywhere you go. 5G boxes are going to be everywhere, okay? So, like, again, this company, Ericsson, they just got a big contract with US Cellular, I believe, to take care of their whole 5G thing. So when these companies make money, that means they're going to pour money into companies like Ericsson. So because we know this from the research that I did, I told you, hey, buy stocks in this company here because they are going to benefit from these companies is going to give them all this money so they can build a new infrastructure. This is kind of the way it works. So we know it's coming. This is a long-term play. Again, 5G is rolling out right now. They already got them in certain places. It's not getting to the hands of consumers until late this year, early next year. Oh, excuse me. And I think, again, you got AT&T, Sprint, Verizon, what's the other one? T-Mobile, and they're all racing. They're all racing towards it right now. So anyway, this is one of the companies. When you guys get the new article, which I'll try to get it out tomorrow or Tuesday, I'll also give you guys my watch list that I put together as well. Got a pretty cool watch list with other stocks in there, great companies that are going to be moving with this new 5G phenomenon. So I hope you guys find value with that information and do what it do, okay? So anyhow, that's what I like for that. What else? So Ericsson, another thing is that like these companies, when I'm talking about this 5G, when I told you about the NASDAQ moving this week, the semiconductors were moving. So all these chip stocks, again, these are chip stocks that's making Intel, IBM. All these companies are building infrastructure for 5G. They're all benefiting. So you're seeing the moves in the markets right now. Oh, that's Wesley said you're going to be in Africa when they get 4G. They're going to put 5G out there where you are because you know China taking over Africa anyway. They're going to have 5G out there in no time. And that's another big thing, too, also to keep in mind is that Huawei, the company over in China, is like the second largest, communication firm that's out there in the world, basically. And they are leading this whole 5G thing, like, 5G infrastructure. They already got it out and all this other stuff. But you see, there's a big push for America against China, from trying to thwart China's efforts in that space, because whoever controls 5G is going to control the world. I mean, that's what it's all about, control, man. And so if you're lagging behind, that's the issue. Now, again, you had Vice President Pence went to threaten all these European countries. Hey, y'all doing business with Huawei? It's going to be over. Okay, it's going to be over. Like that's a threat. Okay. But they're getting pushbacks now. Huawei actually suing U.S. for telling these companies that don't do business with them, right? And it's like, okay, they got to slow them down so we can get caught up over here. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of bureaucracy and stuff like that in America versus in China. They don't have anything. It's like they got a dictator. What he say, go. Ain't no debating. Ain't none of that. That's is what it is. In America, we got the Democrats, you got the Republicans, you got the conservatives, the liberals, you got all these people, right? And so it's got a debate, it's got to go through all this different stuff. So anyhow, America wants to continue to be, ahead and to continue to lead. And the European Parliament, they had a meeting, I believe it was like last week, about their efforts to also slow China down when it comes to that too. Like, hey, we should not do business with Huawei. And another thing is I think we talked about it last week. It's not just that, it's U.S. companies being taken advantage of by China. Okay, I understand it's always two sides of the story, but this is just a narrative from what we know. From what we know from the research we've done, any company that want to do business in China, they have to partner with another company in China. So it's like, oh, you can't just come over in China and get this cheap labor. You got to partner with one of our companies to get this cheap labor. But when they do that, China steals the technology from your company that you gave them, right? And they go and rebuild your company. And then compete with you and then knock you out of business or hurt your business because you can't compete with them. You know what I'm saying? Not when it comes to cheap labor and everything. So that has been the issue. That's why you have, situation with Huawei And Apple not doing so good. You know, he's talking about Apple. They're not even going to release their sales no more. Like Apple's not even going to show you their sales. That used to be a bragger thing. It was kind of like music sales back in the day. Like, yo, my record went platinum. My record went diamond. And then now, you know, the music industry in the butthole in a bucket hole, excuse me. You know, you don't see people bragging about their sales no more because the industry's not making that kind of money no more. So the same thing with China is like, hey, now I'm making that kind of money no more. They're not publishing those sales no more. And a lot of that comes from China stealing, you know, or capitalizing on that market, which brings me to, I guess, another point where, you know, things are changing in the environment. I'm talking mumble rap, right? So things are changing in the environment that we're living in, right? And a lot of things that's happening right now, you're not going to see impacts of it until the future. And so I know some of those things, you know, we're talking about the Trump presidency, you know, the Republicans, you know, in control, and this nationalism view is taking, you know, it's actually taking over. And you can see the powers that be combating. It's a big power combative thing where you have globalism on one side, you have nationalism on one side. And that's what we're dealing with right here. We're dealing with globalism versus nationalism. And so, you know, there's pros and cons to both sides. But what we're seeing is that the globalism, that's been a thing that's, you know, under the Democratic presidency of Obama, that was a thing that was moving up, even before him, Bush and all of them, right? This globalism thing has been empowering, you know, these companies, you know, because companies go, hey, we can close down here in America. We can go over China. We're going to go do this all this stuff in China. But it's actually left a bad taste in the mouth of people they live in industrialized cities, you know, states, and seeing a lot of, you know, businesses leave going over to, you know, to China, basically. So a lot of that has actually pushed, you know, Trump into power. So I know a lot of people point fingers. Hey, you didn't vote. So that's why you're in. Nah, it's really about people's values. Like people are like, man, I want my jobs, and they're going to China, and he talking about that. So that's basically what happened, right? But not just here in America, but all over the world, a lot of countries are actually going into this nationalism view, even China. And that's why you're having, you know, this trade deficit stuff that's going on, because even Chinese, you know, in the Chinese country, they're starting to buy their own stuff, right? So you have Apple, you know, who, you know, is an American company that had their cell phones, but Chinese people are like, no, we ain't buying no Apple phones. We buying Huawei, right? You ever see that? So that's another thing that adds to the trade deficit, because they're not spending money over here for our products. They're also moving more nationalized to, hey, supporting their products. And so the same thing with America, buy American goods and this, that, and the third. Now, all of it has an impact on you and me. We're consumers. So consumers, a lot of stuff has, you know, past cost to you guys, past cost to us, or whatever. But you know, you see all this stuff in the stock market world. So anyhow, before I get off on a tangent, I just want to kind of give you a layout of the environment that we're moving into right now with the financial markets. So you got to understand, financial markets is at the top. Okay, everything from the top comes down to the bottom. It means it go down to your executives. And that's the thing is, also, I've seen this panel is 200 executives, and they was talking about the same stuff. 200 executives of like some powerful companies in America was talking about the same thing, saying that, hey, we're starting to see a change in the atmosphere. The change is going more towards a nationalism mind view with these, you know, across the world and doing business. And so what impacts does that have on corporations? So you see corporations moving towards what's going to benefit them more, or what have you. So quite naturally, they want to get that cheap labor in China. But what some of them are doing now is they're moving out of China, because China is actually getting a little expensive, right? So the manufacturing in China, I believe it says the wages in China for the employees have doubled since 2010. Wouldn't that be great if the wages in America doubled? That would be awesome if everybody could, you know, double your pay in 9 years, right? That would be awesome, but that's not happening, right? Wages is going up slightly, but corporations are getting richer and richer because, again, they maneuver in ways that's going to benefit them. So if you're not participating in the stock market, you're missing out on a lot of wealth that's being generated. So all this wealth being generated, you're like, oh, I don't see it. It's because you're not participating in the stock market. All this wealth is being generated at. Oh yeah, and plus, yeah, you do have China, you know, manipulating currency. These are some of the things that's supposed to be getting dealt with this trade deal. Not too sure if that's what's going to happen or not. And to quite be frank with you, are you guys tired of hearing about the trade deal with China? Like it's like played out right now, and the markets is showing that it's played out, right? So the markets is moving, up, like all right. So yeah, like if we take a look here at the S&P 500, and you see the markets is just moving up like whatever, like December ain't never happened, but you still got the trade deal looming over your head. But it's kind of like, that's interesting. We don't have a definitive time frame of when the trade dispute is going to take place. We just hear a bunch of rumors. Rumors is that is going good. Trump will say something like, "Oh, trade deals is going great with China." Then the Wall Street Journal or whatever financial publishing company say, "Oh, things are going great." Yeah, there's still no trade deal. Normally, stuff like this, when it doesn't go through, normally the markets sell off on this type of stuff. So, and it makes it interesting in this environment because we're starting to see that the markets are going up. And, with the market shrugging this stuff off their shoulders, it just looks like we're going to continue to go up and may even hit new highs soon. Now, something that's interesting that gives me caution, because again, you have to remember, in the stock market world, we're dealing with risk and rewards, and that's everything in life. It don't matter what you're doing in life. Okay. Risk and rewards. Think in terms of risk and reward, and you can understand the stock market game, right? Okay. So which brings me to, as we see the, in fact, let me see if I can actually pull up a side-by-side chart for you guys real quick. This may give us a little buffer here. All right, so I'm pulling up a side-by-side chart, and let me pull this down a little bit so you guys can see it. So this brings me to another concern here. If you look on the chart to the left, we're looking at the bonds. If you look at the chart on the right, we're looking at equities. Okay. Now this is a concern that I do have. The markets right now. Okay. So this is bonds. This is the stock market. Now, normally these things play counter to each other. Okay. The bonds go up, stock market go down. Stock market go up, bonds go down. Okay. Can you guys see this? Let me change my color here to red. You can see they're moving together. They're moving together, right? So this is risk that you have to consider. Okay. I saw a little bit of it, I think last week, but I didn't really get to make it out the week before because I saw equity start to dip a little bit. All right. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe that's going through. So last week we had the bonds that was on our radar. Okay. And, but now we see the whole move. They're moving together. This is a divergence. Okay. So this is a divergence to kind of throw you off. It makes it difficult for me as a navigator through the markets, trying to lead y'all to the money, the path forward, to kind of see where we're going. This makes it difficult. This is what I call, if you hear me talking, if you ever talk to me, I talk about things getting cloudy. This is what I'm, talking about, like stuff like this. This is not the way it's supposed to be going. So when I see things like this, it concerns me. Now, this is what concerns me, is that because China deal has not gone through yet, and it's just a bunch of talk. Okay. All right. So remember, let me just write this up here. China. That's still a major issue. And then you got Brexit also, right? Y'all see the no deal with Brexit. I think it was on Tuesday. That's another thing that's impacting, the emerging markets. So these are still two risks that's on the table that have not been dealt with. And they're going to keep looming. And I think this is what causes a lot of volatility that we're going to see. Now, the thing that concerns me about this is that if investors are buying bonds, okay, now we see, everybody buying, equities, right? But when we see the institutions buying bonds, what does that mean? this is a sign of risk ahead, right? Hedging. I don't know what's going on. I mean, we got a good idea because our Game Plan Sundays, we come here every week and we assess the environment that we're in. But if you never look at this chart side by side and you only see this, then you only looking north. You're like, oh man, the market's gonna rally up. I got a buy trigger here. It's bullish chart. Boom, boom, boom. But you never took a look at this, okay? And then say this week, if something pop off and you get a rejection here, you get a rally here. You see, like that's, you still need to have, you know, eyes on it. And that's another good thing for having community. That's why I can't see it all. Okay. I need for y'all to see it too. We bring it all together. Okay. So there's a couple of things. Also, we have global slowdown, global slowdown, global slowdown. Everybody knows it. I wrote an article on it on our website. You guys should have saw it, should have read it. We're talking about as the world slows. Everybody's forecast. In fact, they're forecasting that it's worse than what they were actually projecting way back in October. And then earlier this year, concerns about China's growth, the trade wars is negatively impacting a lot of things. We're in a cycle that's, you know, the markets are cyclical. So we're going through a cycle here. And so this slowdown, I believe, I'm seeing it priced in on bonds, in the bonds market. So this is what I'm looking at for this. So just keep this in mind. This is, you know, again, last week from Game Plan Sunday, we talked about, you know, again, this was the move there in bonds. Okay. It's still on. Okay. This is the looking at the 10-year notes here, 20-year notes, I believe. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, so that's 10-year Treasury notes. Okay. Anyhow, so just keep this in the back of the mind that we still have risk on the table because we're seeing bonds go up. Okay. Gold was doing a little something different. Let me see what gold is doing. And gold is moving similar to equities too. So I mean that's another thing. You see that. You know, moving a little similar, but just a little weaker. And this is another flight to safety. Okay. Now, another thing is that, you know, gold, we want to see how gold is going to maneuver up here. It looks like it's starting to get a little weakness in there. Not too sure how that's going to play out. We got to see how it's going to play out. But if we take a look at utilities, this is another, you know, sector that behaves like bonds and gold. This is another safety, flight to safety. So, you know, while, you know, Wall Street has been enjoying, you know, all of this great run here, we see that, you know, this flight to safety is going up. So if people are buying for safety, okay, utilities, you see that? That still concerns me. Okay. So it looks like we should get more, you know, I don't see any other, you know, signs of trouble, but I do see risk in the bonds and, you know, the bond markets, basically utilities, that says, hey, you know, there's fear in the market here, even though the VIX look like it's broke right now and the VIX is continuing to go down. I'm just not too sure if this rally is a long-term rally or is it just a short-term rally that may hit something like this and then turn back over. Not too sure, but it's something that you should definitely consider. All right, let me go back to our master grid. We may get a buffer because there's a lot going on here. All right, so now we got white charts here. Aye. It's okay. Let's take a look at some setups in here. Jeez. I don't know if I can deal with the white background right now. Let me go in and fix this. That looks better, right? Okay. It's a little darker. Let me see if I can go to my lighter color here. Eh. Oh, here we go. We'll go with like this bluish. All right. We'll rock with that for right now. All right, cool. So let's look at some setups. And I'll take some from you guys. We'll go ahead and bring it to a close. If you guys looking at the Wall Street Jack Boys squeeze list over here. All right. These are some good squeeze plays over there. Okay, so that's in the watch list. All the members, you guys should have this. It's in the course. This is in the classes. If you don't have the classes, make sure you subscribe. WallStreetJackBoys.com. All right, so anyhow, we have a nice squeeze set up here. We got some momentum going upwards, trend going upwards. We have a trigger here. We already got a floor established down here. We had a trigger that's up there. We got upside potential up here. Okay, so that's another one play to the long side. Netflix is on the board. All right, so I do like Netflix to the north side also, which we had the floor that's established here. Seeing it clear to 618. It's got some squeeze in here, so that squeeze give it some power. Now the trend hasn't gone up yet, so I can't count this yet. On the faster side of the stochastics, we're going up. We had that trigger that was right there that says to get in. So I do like Netflix more to the upside. Okay. And again, this is all in your watch list over here. You can pretty much, catch one of these plays here. Now, another thing was interesting is Banks, and Banks is in my chart here too. And as you guys know, Banks are not my best friend right now. Okay. Banks have not been my best friend, but Banks there back in a setup again. We'll see how they do. It's a tricky one. Oh, what was the first ticket? My bad, Mark. Yeah, Texas Instruments. Yeah, if you guys can see the I'm just going through the watch list and just picking from over here. So you guys can choose, anything from the watch list over here. Pretty much find a nice setup. Yeah. So JP Morgan. Again, we got some overhead resistance up ahead here, and we do have trend moving up. We have a squeeze in there. Stochastics moving up. Another buy trigger here. Another buy trigger here. I say we move up to this level here. Okay. That's a key level of resistance. The squeeze may give it enough power to pop through. Okay. So that's let me see. Yep. It's about the same spot. So yeah, pop up here. And then that's the first target, and then the second target, it'll be all the way out. Now, and it's another thing is that this same pattern is pretty much consistent throughout the financials. You take a look at Goldman Sachs. There's a squeeze here also, and it's a little pennant here. So it's actually squeeze itself into a situation that's going to have to move. So it's got to move up or it's got to move down. In this particular case, I'm projecting up. Okay. And you can see here, $212 target to the upside. So, and that's another, bank stock, but you can pretty much see this consistent through the banks, whether it's Bank of America, Wells Fargo, whatever. That's a consistent pattern that I'm seeing in the financials. And normally if the banks go up, the bonds go down. So if we see a rally in, banks, then again, bonds should go down. We have to assess how that goes. You said Bank of America. Let's see. Yeah, and there we go. Again, this is the Bank of America one here. It's been a little while. Okay. So yeah, so you can see the same thing here. Buy triggers, squeeze setup. This isn't participating yet. This one really isn't looking too good, but if the financials move, then this will move with it. This will move with the sector. All right. Bank of America. You said you said any calls. Let's see, where are we? All right, so yeah, it's got lots of volume here on Bank of America calls. It's actually, if you look at the analysis down here, you see that they have more calls than puts. Okay. So yeah, so you can see the consensus is bullish. All right. And then the calls, let's see, if you were to go for the Delta 75 calls, this is where you want to be at around here. We got enough volume. We have enough open interest. The bid ask spread isn't too bad. So that's manageable. But if you're going to buy calls and aim for those 28 strikes, Delta 75s. Can't sell premium on here really because it's not enough premium to collect on here. So buying calls would be the logical thing to do here. All right. Did I miss anybody? Equity slow in near term, goes back up this week due to Brexit. Yep. Thank you, Mia. Thanks, Wes. All right, cool. So I'm finished with my spiel here. You guys got anything else y'all want to look at? Any questions? Facebook side, if you guys with me, any questions? I'll take those real quick before I bring it to a close. Let you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. WSJB crew, y'all got anything? Any questions? Anything y'all want to look at? What's up, my man Keith? I know you got something on the list. Where's Ron at? I think I saw Ron on the Facebook side. I know Ron got something. Ron normally always has something cooking. BX. Okay, cool. We'll take a look at that one. What's up, Keith? How you doing, man? Okay. I knew you was holding out, Mark. See, Mark always be holding out, man. Y'all got to check. Make sure y'all hit Mark up in the group, man. He real quiet. He don't say much. But make sure you hit that man up. Make sure you hit him up. I like this chart right here. This looks pretty good. You guys can see it. Nice squeeze play. Okay. Squeeze there, trend up. We're seeing all the stars in alignment. That's what I'm doing here, making sure everything's in alignment. Now, don't have much movement on it. Okay. This stock doesn't move much, but again, if you want to play it, I like it to the long side. There we go. I knew Ron was in there hiding somewhere. See, I can't see everything on Facebook. I don't know why I can't see everything and everybody, but we'll see. I knew Ron was somewhere in the cut. Cree, let me see what he got. All right. So Cree. Okay. I mean, this is a clearly bullish setup. Now it's looking like it's already at it's hit a new high. It looked like it's got some more space to go, but let me see what we have on the option side. We don't have much on the option side though. It's really not much on the option side here. Let me see. Yeah, these are 5 wide. And these Delta 67s is out there, but I don't see much activity on the option side. And they are pricing in the next 30 days. Again, about almost $5 move here. So you just add that into the 56. That'll put you at about 61 and 51. Yeah, 61, 51 zone, up or down. Okay. All right. What else? You're gonna do some calls on there? Yeah. I mean, you're pretty much gonna have to do calls on this one. All the open interest and stuff is here on the Delta 67s, really. Okay. About $300 call. Open interest here. I don't know how long you're looking to play it, but if you're playing those, 32 days out. Let's take a look at C. China. Oh, okay. I actually like this one. Now this will be for some Chinese exposure. Okay. Any positive news coming out about China? This would be a nice play here. It's a nice bull flag there. Okay. Normally with these plays, you see Another leg up. All right. So I do like that to the upside. And what Baba talking about? Okay. Take a look at Alibaba. My daughter, she like when I say Alibaba. Alibaba. You got to say it with an accent. We say Alibaba, yo. Baba. Shaba. Baba. Anybody ever use Baba? Anybody ever use that? It's a good company. If any of you guys have a business or you're selling products, you may want to go to Baba. Okay, Chinese company, but you deal straight with the manufacturers over there to get your goods. All right. So again, this is Alibaba. Let me see. Now Alibaba's looking all right now, but you know what, Keith? Some other Chinese exposure, and again, Baba, that's a good company. Right now, I don't have no clear direction on it. Okay, but I believe Baidu's looking good. Let me see. They looking all right. But you know what? This is what I like about Baidu. Baidu has already hit its floor. This is looking kind of like a bounce play. I think about like bouncing the basketball, a bounce pass or whatever. Once it hit that floor, bounces off here, and then it goes to, the target. So anyhow, if you ever coach basketball, you know this bounce plays. I call it the bounce play. Anyhow, I see the floor there. I see my overhead resistance up here. Okay, overhead resistance here. There is a fresh squeeze that's forming on here, which, our squeeze dot that's there, and it's letting us know we're going to a compression zone. Our trend is going up. This is going up, and we have an upside target at like 179. So yeah, I actually do like Baba to the upside. So this would be some Chinese exposure. If you want to get some exposure in the Chinese markets, Baidu, excuse me, this would be a good play. So any positive news coming out of China this week, whether they're coming through with a deal with the US or not, anything positive, we should see this move to the upside. So yeah, I like that to the upside. Walmart was also in a squeeze, I believe. Yeah, Walmart is in a squeeze also. And it's an interesting situation here. Let's see. I like Walmart to the upside. If we can clear, let me see. Let me go on the intraday chart. They don't hit me with white screens. Okay. Let me put some color on these screens here. I can't see through all that. All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Walmart floors is here, coming up through the 618. Any positive movement here? Like to see it come to the upside. That's how I feel about Walmart. Wally World. Let's take a look here, see where we are. All right. Yeah. So again, yeah, I like this to the upside also. It looks like it's going to hold this floor here on the intraday chart. So as long as it hold that floor, you see how it pops through, comes through this level of resistance. You see it to the upside. All right. Okay, and last one was the Clorox, which we did from last week, which that was actually a pretty good move, and it's still on. Okay, so yeah, if you guys are still in Clorox, the move is still on here. We do have overhead resistance up ahead, and the squeeze hasn't fired off yet, so we're still in that squeeze. Still got some upside here. Now we see that it's coming towards that resistance level there. So let's keep that in mind. That resistance level up ahead at 162. So that just means, hey, we go up to 162. That's where we want to cash out at. Okay. All right. So looks like we have finished tonight's session. And so, yeah, I appreciate you guys showing up. If you know somebody who can benefit from what we do here at Wall Street Jack Boys, send them to the website link, send them to the video. Website is wallstreetjackboys.com. If you guys, support and want to represent what we do, Make sure you cop some gear. Wall Street Jack Boys. We got, hoodies, shirts, and all kind of stuff out there. But appreciate you guys joining us, and we'll be back. Actually, I don't think we're gonna be back next Sunday. I'll keep you all updated if we do. If I have the opportunity to do next Sunday. So we may have to take off next Sunday, but I'll keep you guys updated. But I will be giving you guys a new issue, a new article this week, the 5G plan, so that you guys can start to prepare for 5G and which stocks that will benefit, so you can actually, put those into your portfolio and make some money. All right. So with that being said, you guys have a good night. Enjoy. Peace.